This video is about French player Etienne Bacrot, who happens to have won against Kasper Piorun in round 5 of the World Cup 2021. He will face no one else than Magnus Carlsen, world champion, in the next round. And here I'm gonna show the key game in a tiebreak. Bacrot lost the first game with white and he had to win on demand the second game with black against the Polish player. So e4 played, Bacrot goes for g6, g4, bishop g7. That's a modern defense. And f3 played, and here surprise, a6. So typically I would expect more d6 play for modern. Then bishop e3, d6, c3 played, and here another surprise. You could play knight f6, you could play b5, but instead Bacrot went for an unusual, a rare move, knight d7. Castle played, and the game continued by e5. And here, very strong, the knight on d7 is covering e5, the bishop as well. The knight here hasn't developed yet, so Bacrot has control of the center. The game continued, and here may be the first indication white only needs a draw to win the match, and Bacrot needs to win to stay in the World Cup. But de5 was played to exchange pawns, but a4 directly was stronger, so they exchanged pawn and only now a4. But the game continued by the very strong knight c5, and after the bishop moved, knight d3, the rook moved, and Bacrot captured on c1. And now we have a game where we have a bishop on c8, a bishop on g7, and black has a bishop pair. Now, is the position winning for black? Not at all. It's still very complex, but then we move to, let's say, a position in the game over here, and you can tell that black has a bishop pair, white has a knight. So, the knight pair, so you would say it's a slight advantage for black, but it's not yet a winning advantage. So the game continued, and we reach a critical moment when we reach move actually 42. And after 9b6 play, black to move, Bacrot came up with a great move. He played rook d4. So he doesn't want to exchange, he wants to leave material on the board, and he has some ideas of taking on h3 and attacking on c4 and attacking on e4. So white decided to exchange, but now black takes back, and black has a very strong pass pawn, and now bishop h3 is a threat, right? And the queen can come to d2. That's a lot of threat, right? Coming in and invading the camp. That knight here is kind of out of play and doesn't have a lot of impact on the game. So here, queen d3 played. That's a strong move because that covers d2 and covers h3. So is black just having to have a draw, or is black ready to complicate the game? And Bacrot finds a very strong move: queen c1, king h2, queen c3. And now you realize that if white wants to exchange further, that c3 pawn will promote to c1. So white avoid the exchange, and now h4. Very strong move. Anytime you're gonna have the pawn coming here, black is ready to give a check on g3. And now black wants probably to win another pawn on b4, and d3, d2 is still a threat. So black has full control, and this is where the position became critical for the white player. And now I'm going to try to attempt to show you the actual broadcast and follow the game as it happened during the broadcast. So here you can see that knight f4 played, queen b4 played, knight come to b2, queen a5 played, and on the board I see f4, and now Bacrot is thinking right now what to do with black, and he moved to c3. That's very strong because he's trying to come to g3. Remember, he played h4 before, and queen g3 would win the pawn of f4. And so that's very strong. That's why f5 would be met by queen g3 checks. So white play knight d3 to cover and provide an answer to queen g3 not possible now. And now bishop takes c4 and Kasper Piorun goes for queen g4. Now Bacrot takes on d3. And now what is white's idea? To try to give perpetual check. So white is still thinking, Piorun is white, and he's down a piece, and he's trying to find a perpetual. So queen d7 played. Bacrot's thinking right now. And after king g8, queen e8, king g7, bishop f7, e5, queen f5 played, and white resigned. White is losing because black is up a piece. So that's what concluded the game, but I think the star move of the game was, in my opinion, to find the critical rook d4, and that was creating a lot of threat. So here, b5 was probably the best move to play, ignoring the threat, or playing rook e3 was possible. Instead, after white took on d4, there was too many threats. Queen d2, queen c1, d3, bishop h3. This is lost for white because the knight on b6 is out of play. And the queen here coming to g3 could not defend. And h4 was played next. So I would say that was the key moment of the game. And Bacrot had to win on demand. It's extremely difficult to do with black. And after that, he got confidence, won the next game with black using Sicilian defense, and then won another game with white playing e4, I believe. So that was a fantastic display, and Bacrot will have to show his top game to face Magnus Carlsen. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.